Epictetus, once a tortured slave, became one of the greatest philosophers. His secret? Inner freedom, something no one can take away. Want to learn how to live freely and peacefully like Epictetus? Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on inspiring Stoic philosophy lessons that will change your life. He was born in chains, yet lived freer than kings. Epictetus entered the world not in a palace but in bondage. A slave under the Roman Empire, he had no control over his body, no say in his destiny. His early life was marked by commands he couldn't refuse and a future he couldn't predict. Most would crumble under such weight. But not him. While others sought freedom in politics, wealth, or power, Epictetus discovered a deeper kind, freedom of the mind. He realized, if your thoughts are still your own, no one can truly imprison you. Even in chains you can choose how to respond. Even in silence you can choose your beliefs. That choice? That's where freedom begins. Instead of bitterness, he embraced wisdom. Instead of rage, discipline. He learned to master the only domain no tyrant could touch, his inner world. And from that place he rose, not in status but in strength. Epictetus would go on to teach emperors, shape Stoic philosophy, and influence the minds of men centuries beyond his time. His life whispered a radical truth. You don't need perfect circumstances to live with power. You need clarity. You need courage. You need control over yourself. And when you master that, no one owns you. Not even fate. Would you dare to rise the same way? They could harm his body but never touch his peace. As a slave, Epictetus endured cruelty that would break most men. His master beat him so brutally, it left him physically disabled. He had no comfort, no luxury, no promise that tomorrow would be kinder than today. But even then, he didn't curse life. He didn't waste energy asking, why me? Instead, he asked a different question, what is still mine to control? And with that question something shifted. He stopped chasing freedom outside and began cultivating it within. Pain visited his body, but it never settled in his mind. Hunger gnawed at his stomach, but it never stole his discipline. He understood that suffering wasn't just what happened to you. It was how you chose to interpret it. So he made a choice. To guard his mind like a fortress. To find peace not in escape but in perspective. And through that he built an inner world no one could shake. His story isn't just about endurance. It's about radical ownership. Because if a man with nothing can find peace, then so can we. The world may not give you comfort. But it can never take away your power, unless you give it away. Would you dare to hold your peace even when life doesn't? They broke his leg. He broke no silence. There was a moment, a brutal, defining moment, when Epictetus's master twisted his leg with violent force. Calmly, without panic, the slave warned him, be careful, you'll break it. The master didn't stop. The bones snapped. But Epictetus didn't scream. He didn't curse, didn't beg for justice. He simply looked at the man and said, I told you. No rage. No tears. Just presence. Just truth. This wasn't weakness. This was strength at its purest. The kind that doesn't need noise to prove itself. Because Epictetus had mastered something far more difficult than pain. He had mastered the art of not reacting. He understood that the world will do what it does. People will harm. Life will hurt. But between what happens and how we respond, there is a space. And in that space we are free. So when they broke his body, he didn't let them break his spirit. That's not indifference. That's power, the kind you carry when no one else is in charge of your peace but you. He didn't just teach Stoicism. He lived it bone deep. Would you be that still, when everything around you tries to shake you? He started as a slave, and became a teacher of emperors. Epictetus had no wealth, no inheritance, no titles to his name. But he had something far more powerful, wisdom earned through suffering, and a mind no one could touch. After being freed, he didn't chase revenge. He didn't seek applause. He sought truth. He dedicated his life to the pursuit of virtue, to mastering the only thing we truly own, our thoughts, our choices, our character. In a world obsessed with status, he built his legacy on something eternal. And slowly word spread. People came not to see a former slave, but to listen to a philosopher who had lived every word he spoke. Kings and emperors would study his teachings. Generals would quote him in times of war. Why? Because Epictetus didn't speak from theory, he spoke from the fire. He proved something timeless. Greatness isn't born from privilege. It's forged in discipline. You don't need a perfect life to live wisely. You need courage to meet your life exactly as it is, and rise anyway. His story is not just history. It's a challenge. What will you do with what you've been given? They can touch your life, but only you decide what it means. Epictetus didn't just survive hardship, he decoded it. He taught a truth most spend a lifetime avoiding. No one can harm you unless you allow it. Think about that. People can insult you. Life can betray you. Loss can break your plans. But none of it, can touch who you are inside unless you let it. To Epictetus, pain was real. But suffering? That was a choice. Because suffering doesn't come from events, it comes from your story about those events. He taught that your power lies not in controlling the world, but in controlling how you interpret the world. It's not what happens that breaks you. It's what you believe it means. And when you truly see that, everything changes. You stop being a victim. You stop fighting shadows. You reclaim your strength, not by controlling outcomes but by mastering your response. This isn't detachment. It's dominance. The quiet kind. The unshakable kind. So the next time life tests you, ask, what part of this is mine to own? And remember, what hurts you only has the power you give it. Would you dare to stop giving it power? Freedom begins the moment you stop trying to control what isn't yours. Epictetus saw life with a clarity most never reach. To him, the secret to peace wasn't in changing the world, but in knowing where your power truly begins and ends. He drew a simple line through reality. On one side, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Yours to shape. On the other, everything else. The weather, other people, outcomes, even your own health. Not yours. Not ever. And here's the truth he taught again and again. Suffering comes when you try to control the wrong side of the line. When you demand life be fair. When you cling to what others think. When you fight reality instead of facing it. But once you stop, once you narrow your focus to only what you can control, that's where strength begins. That's where peace enters. That's where you rise. Because no one can stop you from choosing your response. No one can rob you of your character. And in that space between what happens and what you do, you are free. It's not easy, but it's powerful. The storm may come, but your mind? That's your shelter. That's your weapon. That's your home. Would you dare to draw that line, and finally live on the right side of it? You don't need open doors to be free, just an open mind. Epictetus lived in chains, yet he spoke like a man no one could cage. Because to him, freedom was never about where your body stood. It was about where your spirit refused to kneel. He taught that true happiness isn't found in escaping hardship or gaining control over the outside world. It's found in owning your inner world so completely, that nothing out there can touch who you are in here. A prison cell cannot contain a free mind. A cruel master cannot touch a soul that refuses to hate. And no amount of chaos can destroy the calm you've built inside, unless you let it. Epictetus flipped the entire idea of happiness on its head. He showed us, you don't need more to be content. You don't need perfect circumstances to live fully. You just need sovereignty over your own thoughts. That's the kind of freedom no one can hand you. You have to claim it. Moment by moment. Choice by choice. And once you do, the world loses its power over you. They can chain your limbs, but they'll never chain your mind. Not if you choose to stay free. Would you dare to stop chasing freedom and start being it? You may not choose the storm, but you always choose how you stand in it. Epictetus didn't tell us to pretend life was easy. He knew suffering. He knew loss. But he also knew something most people miss. Resistance to reality only deepens pain. So he taught a radical idea. Don't just endure what you can't control. Embrace it. Actively. Deliberately. Not because it's pleasant, but because it's powerful. To Epictetus, attitude was the final frontier of freedom. You may not control what happens, but you always control how you receive it. And in that response, in that quiet moment between trigger and reaction, you reclaim your power. You stop fighting the wave and start learning to ride it. You stop asking why me, and start asking what now? That's not weakness. That's mastery. Because life will test you. It will twist your plans, break your expectations, push you to the edge. But how you carry yourself, that's always yours. That's your art. Your armor. Your responsibility. So the next time life hands you the unexpected, ask, can I meet this moment on my terms? Would you dare to greet fate, not with fear but with poise? He owned almost nothing, yet walked through life like a king. Epictetus lived without luxury. No gold. No mansion. No soft cushions to rest on. His possessions could fit in a small bag. But his spirit? Vast. Unshaken. Rich beyond measure. He showed the world a truth it still struggles to believe. Wealth isn't in what you hold, it's in how little you need to feel whole. While emperors obsessed over territory and treasure, Epictetus mastered something far rarer, self-sufficiency. He didn't crave more because he had already claimed the only thing that matters: control over his own mind, his own peace, his own purpose. And because of that, no one could tempt him, threaten him, or own him. He didn't serve gold. He served wisdom. True wealth, he taught, is waking up unburdened. Is being content not because you have everything, but because you need so little to feel complete. It's walking through the world unchained by greed, untouched by comparison, immune to the noise. That kind of wealth? It can't be stolen. It can't be taxed. And it doesn't rust. Epictetus didn't live like a king. He lived above kings. Would you dare to measure your riches, not by what you own but by how free you are without it? A former slave shaped the mind of an emperor, and millions after him. Epictetus never held a throne. He wore no crown. Yet his words echoed through marble halls, into the soul of Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world. Why? Because truth needs no title to leave a mark. Epictetus spoke of mastery, not over others but over self. He taught clarity, discipline, acceptance. He taught how to live, not just survive but live with honor, peace, and unshakable purpose. And something in that message cut through time. Centuries passed. Empires fell. But his philosophy remained, because it spoke to something deeper than culture or era. It spoke to the human condition. To the warrior facing chaos. To the leader carrying burdens. To the ordinary soul trying to stay calm in a storm. Today CEOs quote him. Soldiers carry his words. Artists, thinkers, and seekers still turn to his teachings when life becomes too loud. Because Stoicism, as he lived it, isn't about emotionless detachment. It's about fearless presence. It's about standing firm in a world you cannot control, without losing who you are. He didn't just teach philosophy. He handed us a compass. Would you dare to follow where it points, even when the world pulls you in every other direction? True freedom isn't in what you can do, it's in what you no longer need. Epictetus didn't see freedom as a physical escape. It wasn't about breaking chains or fleeing danger. He believed freedom starts much deeper, inside the heart and mind. He taught that you are only truly free when you can master your desires and fears, when you no longer chase what doesn't serve you and no longer tremble at what might harm you. Desire pulls you toward what you don't have. Fear holds you back from what you could become. But Epictetus showed that the key to transcending life's pressures isn't in gaining more or avoiding risk. It's in choosing to be unshaken by either. When your happiness isn't tied to things outside of you, and your peace isn't threatened by what could go wrong, you become unmovable. He didn't teach you how to dodge the storms of life. He taught you how to stand firm in them. You are free when you need nothing to define your worth. You are free when you can face any challenge without shrinking back. True freedom, then, is a matter of the mind. Not what you own but what you release. Not what you fear but what you conquer inside yourself. Would you dare to live free from the chains of desire and fear, and walk through life with nothing holding you back? The true chains are the ones you can't see. Epictetus's life stands as proof of a truth so simple, yet so often overlooked. Freedom isn't something you find in the world, it's something you create within yourself. Born a slave, tortured and bound by others, he could have easily believed that his circumstances determined his worth, his peace, his power. But instead he chose something radical. He mastered his mind. In a world that tried to break him, he built a fortress within, unshakable and free. His body may have been chained, but his spirit remained limitless. He could be beaten, imprisoned, but no one, no matter their power, could steal his peace unless he allowed it. That's the essence of true freedom, the ability to remain unmoved by external forces. To face life's trials without losing yourself to them. The peace Epictetus found was not in avoiding struggle, but in accepting it, knowing that nothing outside could steal what he had mastered within. His story shows us that the strongest fortress isn't made of stone. It's made of a steady, unyielding mind. Would you dare to build that fortress inside yourself, so that no circumstance, no matter how hard, can touch your freedom? Thanks for watching. If you found the lessons from Epictetus helpful, please share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to continue exploring the profound Stoic philosophies that will help you live more freely and peacefully every day. See you in the next video.